Hey, how's it going, everybody? Lawler here. Welcome to part 2 for your guide of the RLCS 2021-2022 season. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the new regions, the addition of not just North America, Europe, South America, and OCE, but we're adding 4 new regions, technically 5. It encompasses a couple things. Why the reasoning is now, Psyonix's opinion based upon why now was the time, and a bunch of other movement that is going on between these regions. There's a lot of fun things, simplistic as well as just all-encompassing, as well as a bunch of other things they hint at that we're going to be talking about. So with that said, let's start talking about some of these new regions. So, RLCS, we've got a whole bunch of exciting things like a $6 million prize pool and a bunch of other things coming into the season. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about new regions, the entry of 4 different regions that are going to be competing in the RLCS. One region in particular has a little bit of an asterisk next to it that's different from the others, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So with that said, let's discuss who they are. The 4 new regions coming into the RLCS are going to be Asia Pacific North, Asia Pacific South, Middle East and North Africa are combined into one, and then there's the SSA, or the Sub-Saharan Africa region. One of those regions, the SSA, is different from the others, and I'll talk about that in just a second. This, as a whole, is very exciting. There has been a lot of players and teams that have been waiting for this moment for essentially 5 years. They've been grinding with really no future in sight. The best example I can give is a region like Saudi Arabia. You look at players from Sandrock Gaming, primarily Senzo, talking about, I've been working really hard for 5 years. I've been trying to play in the RLCS. And it's just, there's no hope in sight. There's been no communication, and I'm out. And he goes and retires. The guy who's been working day and night trying to get his opportunity to play at the highest level, which is the peak, that's where you want to become, just didn't really have an option, and now he does. Tournament gets announced, immediately comes out of retirement, and we get to see, most likely, Sandrock Gaming play again with Senzo, Ahmad, and O'Khaled, depending on if they keep TRK as a starter. You get to see a bunch of different regions that have a ton of depth that you and I most likely don't know about, have a chance to go and represent their region and give us the first true international competition, the first true world championship. Because in the past, it was pretty much North America and Europe. To me, that is not a world championship. That is 2 regions battling in international competition. And now we can truly say we have North America, South America, Europe, OCE, Japan, all of Asia, Middle East, India, a bunch of different places like Saudi Arabia, and so much more, which to me is really what this is supposed to be about. We are going to get to see the evolution of different play styles and different ideologies of how to approach the game. There's a lot of things that we have not gotten to see where a specific region has a play style that may change the meta forever. There's so many reasons to be excited about this, other than the fact that we get to see players like Senzo, Ahmad, and O'Khaled, the Falcons. We get to see Realize and Tokyo Verde hit the stage at a world championship level for the first time in the RLCS. Very exciting things about this, and as a fan of the game, you want the best of the best to be there representing the world championship. And now we can truly say that we do. So a lot of exciting things about it. A lot of players have been waiting for this for a long time, and the nice thing is they are simplifying it. In the past, things like the Grand Series from South America were different from the RLCS because they weren't an officially sanctioned region. In the past, Psyonix entrusted those regions and those tournament organizers to run everything. And the difficulty is if you were a fan trying to follow along, it was different. The format wasn't the same, and that is different now. Because these are all officially getting Psyonix support and are under the umbrella of RLCS, they will all be following the same format. 3 splits, fall, winter, and spring, 3 regionals, all identical. Everything has been simplified and streamlined to run the exact same. So it doesn't matter if you're watching South America, it doesn't matter if you're watching North America, it doesn't matter if you're watching Japan. All of these will run the exact same way. 3 splits, multiple regionals, same path to the majors, which is really nice as a viewer trying to watch. They're trying to simplify things and make them as easy as possible for the hardcore fans like myself, as well as the casuals who may be watching this video or watching my channel for the first time. And if you are watching my channel for the first time, Make sure you guys hit subscribe and turn on notifications because we got a whole bunch more covering RLCS coming up soon. Now, I did say one region is different. This is the SSA, or the Sub-Saharan Africa region. They're not getting the same opportunity to go to the majors and the World Championship. What they will be doing is they have a guaranteed spot at the wild card, and I'll talk about this format in a future video coming up next. The format has a World Championship bid, but then there's also a wild card spot where it's basically like a preliminary series going into the World Championship. There is 2 guaranteed spots, to my knowledge, for the Sub-Saharan Africa region, and I'll talk about more on the specifics of what that format means in an upcoming video. Now, when it comes to watching the matches, there's a lot of questions about how do I tune in. Something that's always been really frustrating about Rocket League is not knowing when certain tournaments are, how to watch them, where do I watch them. All that information has been really conflicting. Not only will there be a new update on the website, thank goodness for that. They've addressed it. They know it's not the greatest thing, but there will also be a channel to watch every single region. We're not exactly sure on what those channels or what those Twitch channels, YouTube channels are going to be, but you can expect it to be RLCS South America, RLCS NA, RLCS EU, whatever the region's going to be called. Expect some sort of naming convention. So no matter what you're looking for, you can type twitch.tv/RLCS and then the region you're looking for. That is going to be the way they're doing it. They are partnering again with their production team, DreamHack ESL, and are creating individual streams for each region. They're also working with community members from the regions to be tournament organizers who are experts in their area. If you guys have ever gotten to watch tournaments made by the community, whether it be the APL or Johnny Boy over in Europe, these are the pioneers that have been working tirelessly and putting tons of time, love, and attention to make their regions have some sort of exposure. You look at RL Oceania and the tournaments and the quality that they put on, all of them are going to get a bit of that Psyonix love and propelled to that next level in hopes of making sure that all these regions run as smoothly as possible and all their answers are heard. Psyonix is trusting the community to do what they do best, which is take care and show passion for this esport. It's a phenomenal thing that they are directly addressing. We understand we need help. We are going to ask the people who are the best at this, and this is a phenomenal step in the right direction. This entire announcement, to me, felt like Psyonix is saying, hey, we hear you, we want to do things better, and we're going to trust on the people we trust the most, which is the community, to make these better. So really awesome stuff across the board. This is being handled in what feels like the best way. Again, there's going to be a lot of hiccups, which is to be expected when you're bringing in this much new stuff, but they are doing everything, and I assume things will adjust accordingly throughout the next year. Psyonix does say they would like to do this stuff sooner, but it does take a couple circumstances in order for this to become possible, and they provide a little bit of insight about the timing behind it all. They say that they're always looking at competitive data, and they want to make sure that there's player depth. They feel like now is the best time to implement it and have sustainable competition, and free-to-play update was a large part of that. You don't want to introduce a format and a region where it's just the same 1 or 2 teams competing. You need multiple teams to bring competition and bring excitement for that region, which inspires a new generation to grow and keep that sustainable. It's very difficult if you bring in a region and there's just a couple teams and then no one else is really playing. You need the passionate, you need the willing to go and compete type of players in order to keep that region thriving, because if Psyonix is putting all this time and love into a certain region, you gotta hope that region stays sustainable as well. They do talk about how they didn't want to introduce this in the previous season in RLCS X because they wanted to make sure things ran smoothly. RLCS introduced this crazy circuit-based format, which I talk about in my last video if you want to go take a look at that as well. But they wanted to make sure that they could take the RLCS X as a learning experience, refine it, discuss the necessary problems that were going on, and then make sure that when they did implement it for the next season of RLCS, which is the 2021 and 2022 season, they wanted to make sure things were implemented correctly, streamlined, and refined as much as possible. At the very end of the conversation regarding different regions, they want to talk about representation. How are people going to be able to support their teams? And they do talk briefly about the esports shop. The esports shop is going to be totally revamped, a lot of different revenue streams, a lot of exciting things, home and away decals, and a bunch of other exciting stuff like that. They do talk about that certain regions aren't around just yet, but they are looking to implement and bring those in sooner than later, was the exact word. So it is something in their mind. It is something that they're working to do. And you can expect massive overhauls to the esports shop in-game, and eventually the addition to those other regions as well, where you can go and purchase stuff using code LAWL so you can help support me, which I would greatly appreciate it. But that is going to wrap it up for New Regions Talk. If you guys would like to make sure you stay up to date on all things Rocket League, if you're enjoying this RLCS guide for the 2021-2022 season, consider hitting like, subscribe, and turning on notifications. And if you have any additional questions, make sure you leave them in the comments down below. But with that said, that is going to wrap it up for this video. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about the format revamp, all the new changes to the season, things to look forward to, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.